It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
Hi everyone, I'm Sam Lesante. Well, you know, in the city of Pottsville every year, the mayor has the State of the City address. And I thought it'd be very interesting for you who did not make the meeting Thursday evening. I'm here at the mayor's office, and we probably give you some highlights of that address to fill you in what's happening in the city. Mayor Reilly, thanks for having me again.
Well, it's good to be here, Sam, and thank you for coming down this snowy weather to pay us a visit.
You're worth it. The fine people of Pottsville, I thought it would be interesting to know what's happening in their town, and what I'd like for you to do, and we'll have some discussion after that, is to give us a synopsis to the viewers, citizens of Pottsville, as to what your address is.
Okay, Sam. Each year, this has been going on for quite a few years, even before I took over as mayor. But the mayor would give the State of the City address to council and to the citizens of Pottsville as to what transpired the last year and some of the things that we might have in the fire looking forward. As you know, Pottsville is a third-class city, and it's a commission form of government. We have 4 councilmen and the mayor. As a commission form of government, I act as a chair or mayor, and then each one has a vote. Fortunately, in my 11 years as a mayor, I had extremely good working circumstances with all the council people that I've served with. Every now and then we'd have a dissenting vote, but the bulk of the times it's a unanimous vote because we talk things out ahead of time, and it's a problem running a city these days. So many cities are having financial problems. Pottsville's hanging on for some various reasons that we can discuss here today. But like last year, our street department had like 3,500 calls from the citizens for various problems, such as potholes, pick up debris from storms and so on. That was a 20% increase over last year. They got rid of more than 5 ton of storm damage material. You know, we had several weather incidents in 2011, an earthquake that really didn't cause that much problem here, but a couple storms that left a lot of debris along the streets, and people call the city garage and they go out and they pick it up. Pottsville's one of the few municipalities that provides that type of service, but our street department guys are doing a great job on that. They also have a recycling program where you get items that are difficult to recycle, appliances, electronic equipment, telephones, computers, the whole gamut of electronic equipment, rubber tires, like 27 tons they collected of recyclable material. Clean, and of course they had just normal work days. They were out replacing storm inlets. They put down 420 tons of paving by our own crew last year, and that's up about 40% over the 2010. We had a problem out on Water Street, which is, you know, if you have a road or a street that's named Water or Canal or River or Lakefront Drive, you know, you're going to have water problems. And we had problems on Water Street where a storm sewer collapsed, and our own people went out and dug up a couple 100 feet of Water Street and replaced the pipes, put in 2 new culverts, and it saved the city. If we would have had a private contractor do it, compared to what it cost the city, we saved the city about $11,000. What we're looking for next year is out at 12th and Market Street, where we have a lot of traffic accidents. It's a out-of-date stop traffic signals out there. So we have a grant that Tom Palomar was successful in securing and it's going to be over $100,000 to redo that intersection with new traffic signalization. Also up on the east side, on East Art Street, we're going to be putting new curbs and pavements from George Street up to, I think it's up to Charles Street. So that has started, the contractor started before the winter season got here, but hopefully when the weather breaks, he'll be able to wrap that up. That department is under the direction of Councilman Jim Muldowney. Each councilman has a department. And then we have the Department of Parks, which is under the supervision of Councilwoman Laurie Spotts. They've been very, very active. They keep track, maintain City Hall, the old City Hall where they moved out. The city fathers moved out of the old City Hall back in the late 30s, but now the Joint Veterans Council uses that for their meeting and their headquarters. And Pottsville's own 3rd Brigade Band, their practice room is on the 2nd floor. And it's an older building. It was really the first firehouse in Pottsville. Then it evolved into a city hall, and when they built this structure we're in now, that became vacant, and the Historical Society was in there at first. And the Historical Society moved out, and they're now located 1 block down the street here in the old Center Street School. They have 15 playgrounds they maintain, 8 basketball courts. They have the skateboard park, which I think you did some video on when they opened that. And we get people in on that skateboard park from the whole county. I mean, people are coming up from Morrigsburg and Schuylkill Haven and Minersville to use the skateboard park. And what really amazes me, Sam, is, you know, I wasn't a big proponent of it when it started, but Tom Palomar was pushing for it. Well, he's from the east side, of course.
Yeah,
so he was taking care of the east side. Yeah. But I was worried about graffiti and problems. And knock on wood, man, we had no problems. In fact, some of the youngsters that used the skateboard, and these are a lot of teenagers involved, they went out and they had a sub sale, and they turned over the proceeds, the net proceeds of that sale to the city to help finance that skate park.
That's terrific.
And these, the equipment they have there is was from someplace in Wisconsin. It's not homemade stuff. This is state-of-the-art skateboard equipment, and ramps and rails and the whole works. They have volleyball courts out at JFK, the bike path that the Department of Parks maintains, the 2 monuments, the Garfield Square and the Henry Clay Monument. Thanks to the Pottsville Lions Club, we have the Lions Amphitheater up in Jolwyn Park. They're planning to have some more activity up there. Last year, we had a couple band concerts. There's one already scheduled for sometime in May, I believe, where it's a fundraiser for the fireworks that the city puts on every year at the 4th of July. And Mix, the band Mix, will be there, and they volunteer their time. It's an outstanding band. It's from the Pottsville area, or I should say from the Schuylkill County area, but they're very popular and they draw a crowd, so we're looking forward to that. Also, the Recreation Commission. The Recreation Commission, they have winter swimming. They had 11 free movies for the kiddos down at the Sovereign Majestic. They run the Mayor's Christmas party, over at the Humane, and the Easter egg hunt, where they entertain maybe close to 500 youngsters. Out at JFK during the summer, they have under the Councilwoman Schlitzer started maybe 7 years ago. They have splash parties, a weekly splash party on Tuesday night. And this year they had over 5,000 youngsters, like teenage, I should say, from Pottsville, Schuylkill County, and beyond. They come in. It's the social event of the weekly social event of the summer for the youngsters. And then under Councilman Mike Halkovich, the Director of Accounts and Finance, I always say, no news is good news from Accounts and Finance, and if they make the headlines, that usually means there's problems. So it doesn't make the headlines. We get good audits from the various state and federal agencies that do the audits, and Mike has been doing that for I guess since he became a councilman 10 or 15 years ago. That is. Also in that department is the city clerk, and Julie Rescorla is the city clerk. She's been here for a number of years, and she knows the numbers inside out and upside down. We had a telephone conference just yesterday with some outside people, and she doesn't have to get up and run to pick out the numbers. She has it right up here in her head. She's pretty good at that. Public safety is under the Department of Public Safety is under Councilman Mark Atkinson, and Mark is a certified fire instructor. He was he's a professional fireman, but he's working for the state now as a fire instructor. And they had, I think it was 553 calls that the fire department had this past year. Unfortunately, we had one serious fire that took down 6 homes up in Harrison Street. That's up behind the courthouse, and that alone was $860,000. We had total losses of about $1.1 million in fire, but that one fire of $860,000, that was a big one. But fortunately, we had no fatalities, so that's the important thing. And we have about 150 active volunteer firemen here in Pottsville. And not just Pottsville, but Schuylkill County is extremely fortunate that they have excellent fire departments, volunteer fire departments. If we had a paid volunteer, if we had a paid department, we'd be in financial difficulties like other third-class cities. But we have one full-time paid member, and that's the chief, the fire chief, and he's been here. He knows his business. He's when I was on council back in the early '70s, he was appointed. So that's how long he came here, probably in '75, somewhere around there. But Todd's doing a great job. And plus, they have hundreds of non-fire volunteers who are behind the scenes, who helps out with their fundraisers. When they have the, Sam, I don't know if you ever recorded, but when they have the Schuylkill County Fire Convention, that's a bigger fire parade than the 6th County Convention. And you really get to appreciate what the various fire companies in Schuylkill County, they go out and they have their breakfasts and their dinners and their hoagie sales, and they raise a lot of that money themselves. The city gives each one of our 7 companies a stipend every year, and I wish we could give them more, but we just don't have more to give them. That leaves my department, is the Department of Public Affairs. We've had a busy year. In zoning, we had like almost 1,400 complaints or concerns on various properties that were called into the zoning office, Donnie Chescavage. We had over a couple hundred building permits, and Donnie's out checking on these on a daily basis, and that's why we have problems. But if you stay on top of them, you prevent a little problem from becoming a big problem. Another very time-consuming effort that went on in that office this past year was we had requirements from DEP, Department of Environmental Protection, on water and sewer water separation. And they zeroed in on 1,139 properties where there was a question, has their storm water separated from their sewage? We have completed 1,108, and that's like a little over 97% complete, where it has been verified that yes, they are separated. It's not the whole city, because the whole city has yet to be have storm and sewer water separation. But in the areas where the storm and sewage separation are situated, it's 97.3% complete. Mm-hmm. So, and some of those are difficult. It's going to be difficult to do it, but as a result of that, getting the EDU, that's the unit engineering diversion unit or something of that nature, from DEP to hook up a new sewer. But because of the fact that we've been so successful in confirming that these 1,100 properties have separation, they granted us 10 new units, which enables us to put up, issue 10 more permits, 10 more buildings. So we need more, but 10 is a start. Also, our police department has been very proactive. When I took office 11 years ago, we were talking with the chief earlier, he's a great guy. I said, our main focus is going to be on drugs, and are all the drugs off the street of Pottsville? No. Are we proactively going after them? Yes. We have made over 100, I think it was 111 drug arrests last year. And the courts are very supportive here in Schuylkill County, and they talk to any of the judges, and they'll say what a good job our police department does in preparing their cases when it goes to court. And the courts, the judges, thank goodness, are putting the hammer down on these individuals. So, and that we will maintain that stance with zero tolerance. You know, if there's someone runs a traffic light or fails to take a fence down that's in violation of the code, we'll work with them. But with drugs, it's a 0% tolerance, zero, and we're going to maintain that. I would like to thank also, we've had cutbacks in grants. DARE, this drug and alcohol outfit for the kids, and our funding was completely eliminated on that. We had a resignation in the police force, and the DARE officer, the DARE teacher, DARE professor, he was moved upstairs to a captain, Captain Durkin, and we have to, the DARE instructors have to be certified. So that involves sending them away to school for 2 weeks, I believe, and we just didn't have it in the budget, but due to the generosity of a couple organizations, a couple individuals, they made donations that we'll be able to send Officer Merton to DARE school so that the DARE program can continue in the local elementary schools. Mm-hmm. I want to thank them, and they did a good job. But the main thing that I mentioned to you briefly before we start taping that was going to transpire, as you know, we put a new intermodal transportation center down at Union Station, and it's a transportation hub, plus it's a rail hub, so the rail and bus. And we rented the first floor to County Visitors Bureau and a QEI, which is a small architectural firm. The second floor was vacant, and the third floor was completely taken over by STS Schuylkill Transportation. But we're happy to say that We have secured a tenant for the second floor. It's like 6,000 square feet. And now, instead of being just a transportation hub, it's really going to get into economic development, because the new tenants are going to be SEDCO, which is Schuylkill Economic Development Corporation, and the Schuylkill Chamber of Commerce. They'll be moving in there.
Two great organizations.
Two great organizations.
Two great organizations.
SEDCO, throughout the years, have brought industry in the Schuylkill County that has supplied jobs for thousands of people and millions of dollars in economic development. And the Chamber, the Schuylkill Chamber of Commerce, has been around since 1918. It was the Pottsville Chamber of Commerce, and it became the Greater Pottsville Chamber of Commerce, and now it's the Schuylkill Chamber of Commerce. And that crew, they do a great job, and they've been helping businesses out and helping develop business since 1918. So they're no rookies. Yeah. And we just can't wait to get them going. And it's going to be a real selling point for SEDCO when they bring in a prospective client, a prospective industry into the county. Not just Pottsville. In fact, most of their developments out of the county, but we're glad to have them. They have their offices here in Pottsville, and they're a great organization. They do a great job.
Well, it looks like you have a great address here for the city, and there's a lot of good news that you've presented.
Yes, but there's some bad news. You know, that's
we don't want to get bad news.
It's not good news. But I don't know.
Well, hold on to that bad news, okay? Folks, if you just tuned in, I'm talking to Mayor Reilly, and he is giving you the highlights of the State of the City address. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. I'm here at Mayor Reilly's office in the city of Pottsville. But before we talk to Mayor Reilly, on a personal note, I want to thank all of you for the tremendous response we've been having on Comcast 7 here with our local television programming. As I promised you last year, I told you that there'd be more programming that we'll be doing, and we are doing that. And we're hoping that it will continue, and I'm hoping before the end of this year, we'll be presenting to you, the citizens of the who are on Comcast 7, news, local news, which is so desperately needed. As you know, in the country, broadcast viewing and cable network viewing is decreasing. However, what's increasing in leaps and bounds is local programming such as we produce here on Comcast 7. And I appreciate very much the support we're getting from the sponsors, particularly the new show we're starting, The Girls. You're going to love it. Mayor Reilly, you gave some great stuff. Now you have a little, some maybe not real bad news, but kind of news we don't like to hear.
Well, Sam, every municipality is under the same umbrella that we are, but our outside funding sources are drying up. We get community development block grants from the Fed, but that's been decreasing like 25% per year. That's where we put in a lot of the new sidewalks, and we have some that I mentioned in my address on East Art Street, where we're putting the curbs and sidewalks. Our DARE funding, the COPS grant of the past, they're all dried up, and you know, it's the economy we're in. Our population base is dropping a bit. 25. I know it was at 25,000 like in 1954 or something like that, and we're down to just under 15,000 now. But we have an old infrastructure here in a city of a municipality of 205 years old. A lot of our housing stock dates back to that, so. They're old homes. When people, we get out of town, landlords come in and buy them up. So we are going to implement probably a blight. There has a blight bill that passed the Senate and it's signed into law, but we're looking at a vacant property ordinance that will force or encourage landlords, especially out-of-town landlords, to do something with their property.
One of the things, we have about 2 minutes left, Mayor, one of the things that I really appreciate in politics today is you said in the beginning that you do a lot of communicating, and you do a lot of talking, you do a lot of negotiating, and with your councilmen, and your meetings don't become like zoos. They're done professionally, and the communication that you have, sure, we may agree to disagree, but they're done in a professional manner. And I'd have to applaud you and the council and the city of Pottsville, because in some cities you have circuses, and everybody has agendas, and they all want to, egos, and it just tears down the image of the city. And I have to congratulate your council and your city. All your administrators here work together.
They're extremely close working together. As I took you on a tour, a brief tour, that I could walk a couple steps. I'm in the city administrator's office, and the chief of police was there at the same time, but his office is down. But it's an open door policy. They can walk in here anytime they want.
Well, Mayor, I want to thank you, as usual, for allowing us to come in. We'd like to do a little bit more of this like we did before. And you've always been so gracious to us.
Well, thank you, Sam, and I wish you luck on your new venture. I've been following your show. You're going to start bringing some news programs on for the Schuylkill area. Yeah.
And I think it's important in Hazleton we have over 65,000 people watch our news on our daily basis, and Pottsville has been really, really great. And I think now that we'll be almost covering all of Schuylkill County starting March 1st, be a good opportunity to get the word out, But once again, thanks for having me, okay? Folks, ssptv.com. Pottsville has their own segment on our website. All the shows we've done, we're doing the Sam Lesante shows all around the towns. You can watch them anytime, 24/7. Just go to ssptv.com, hit shows, hit the Pottsville, and you can see every show we produce. We'll see you next time.